our body. Our minds is the Kurukshetra. Apart from that, this stage is a Kurukshetra also. And that can be converted to Dharmakshetra. I will say it has already been converted to Dharmakshetra by your pious thoughts, conduct, actions and discussions. So, I take extreme pleasure in inviting next Professor Nandita Mahapatra to announce the results and take on the next session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Having a sense of purpose is having a sense of sense. Life isn't equal. What you send, it comes back. What you sow, you will see in others, exist in you. Putting sure. Again, a warm afternoon, and I welcome you all once again to the day 2 post-pronunciation of Yugma 2023, the National Level Oriental Conference. Well, we are through with the oral presentation round, that is the semi-final round, and all the 37 top participants who could make up to the semi-finals did amazingly well. So all the participants, your oration was that human touch, and your speech was that powerful. Your words were having that power to inspire, motivate, and captivate all the hearts. But definitely, we will see those participants who could capture and captivate the heart of our jury members. So, again, a breathed breath. Nervous? I'm talking to all the participants. Nervous? Yes. Impatient? No? Alright. So, this for the audience, can we have again a bigger round of applause for all the top 27 participants of Yugma 2023 who could make up to the semi-finals. And this is for those 37s who could not make it to the top 5 of the competition. Be with us. Definitely we will not go empty-handed. We have a lot of things to love and of course some amazing gift to give you in the validation session. So here I go with the top 5 finalists of Yugma 2023. So as I call the name, I would request the participants to come and join me on the stage. To start with, keep on clapping when I announce the name of Succeed Maharana from SCB Medical College, Qatar. Congratulations for making it to the top 5 finalists of Yugma 2023. You can come and be in front of podium number 1, that is not page. The second finalist is Jackie Abulda from State School of Management. Jackie, congratulations. Very welcome. Coming from long way from South Africa, you have made it to the top 5 of this national level archery contest. The third finalist is Khushi Garg from Vikas School of Business Management. Congratulations, Khushi. The fourth finalist is Deepshika Mohapatra, Rebecca University. Deepshika, quickly come up, show some excitement and take it with again to your oration, see in the next round. of this competition. And this was stage 4, the open forum debate round. I will discuss with all top 5.
So I would like to put a request technical team to play the video. In the meantime, we will have the participants, the finalists, in another room, and in a short while they will be joining us, and we will all get to see the vibrant discussion of the next round. So please. Thank you.
I am the instrument, O secret spirit, and nature housed in me. Let all my mortal being now be blent. I have given my mind to learn. I have offered up my will. Be left behind in our union, mystic and unutterable. My heart shall throb with the world beats of thy love. My body become thy engine for earth use.
Enough juice.
In my nerves and veins, thy raptures, my thoughts, charms of light, forever to lose. Keep only my soul to adore eternally and meet thee.
How many blows are needed in life for one to know very depth that one is nothing, that one can do nothing, that one does not exist, that one is nothing, that there is no entity, and the grace. From the moment one knows it, it is over. All difficulties have gone. One knows it integrally. And there is nothing which resists. But till that moment, and it takes, and above all, never lose patience or courage. The most material form of this is perseverance. That's what impatience does. Perseverance is patience in action. help you not to get discouraged, not to become sad, and to face all difficulties with a smile. There is an English word which expresses this very well. Cheerfulness. If you can keep this within you, you resist much better and fight much better these influences which try to hinder you from progressing. And so, after all, one doesn't care a rap for obstacles and difficulties. What can that do to you? It doesn't count. One laughs at time also. What does it matter to you if it takes long? For a much longer time, you will have the joy of aspiration, of consecration, of self-giving. For this is the one true joy, and this joy fades away when there is something egoistic. And because there is a demand, which one calls a need, which is mixed in the consecration, otherwise the joy never disappears. So long as you can't be in joy, a constant, calm, peaceful, luminous, invariable joy, well, it means that you have still to work to purify yourself, and sometimes work hard. Aspiration and effort. Do not allow yourself to be discouraged by setbacks. This always happens in the beginning. But if you continue to fight without paying any attention to them, a day will come when the resistances give way and the difficulty you, but you must learn to use it and to rely on it rather than on your own resources.
That was such an inspirational and motivational video. Before moving on to the next round, I will take this opportunity to invite some of our participants will come here to the podium and share your views on Yugma 2023. What you felt, how did you feel, etc., etc., etc. So it is, of course, voluntary. Anyone who would like to come here and share your views, you are utmost welcome. Thank you. We have our first person here.
First of all, I would say that it's a very glad moment and I am very happy to be here in the Yugma event. As far as I share my experience with you people, I have gone to many of the debate competition. I have already taken part in 60 or 70 competition. So, and I have not been a winner of much. I am not showing of anything. I have been quite a few number of times I have been adjudged the winner. But the thing is that it is the first place where I am going in a debate competition or event is organized around the spirituality. Or it is the first place that made me realize that what is spirituality or what is that importance of spirituality. So it is kind of a event that is not only inculcating the new mind or the minds of the new generation. It is inculcating a positive hope, a positive frame. Initially, I could not understand that initial stages, that what is humanity, what is spirituality. As I believe in the lower classes or 2 years or even 2 months before, that this spirituality and all these things are kind of philosophical and bookish kind of thing. That doesn't make sense to our generation. But this event made me realize that it is very much helpful and very much effective and as well as very much important and essential part of the young generation. Overall, one thing I would say that the most important thing in the Yugma event is that here there is a quotation. The same principle is being followed here, and the thing I am very that each and every participant will also be happy on the same thing. That the participation or the viewpoints are equally listened to by the jury, even if you are not the winner. That's why I appreciate the jury that they are capable in this. But other places I have seen that initially if they got 5 or 6 finalists or for any further round, they do not play or do not pay heed to the other's opinion. But here one thing I feel that each and everyone's opinion or the thought process is being valued. That's the speciality of this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, please.
In the Rigveda, let noble thoughts come from every corner. And so as I've come to this event, even if I'm not as a finalist, but I can clearly say that I've learned a lot. So thank you everyone and yeah. So every participant here spoke so well and their points were so good that I just couldn't, I was just sitting and I was just listening. I can listen to this for hours. So honestly this is the first time I'm being in an event where winning doesn't matter to me. I'm glad, I'm actually happy. It doesn't matter whether I win the prize because even if I'm not in the finalist, I did not feel sad because I've learned a lot in this place. So thank you so much everyone and we all are already winners for participating. So I would just say one last thing to everyone. You all have done so well, so great and I'm like wholeheartedly being appreciating each one of you for coming up and speaking. So thank you so much.
We would also like to have some more views from some of you. Yes, please, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. This is my first time I am coming to such a spiritual environment. We all are stuck in our only few of us will be having doing prayers in our home, are discussing spiritual things in our home, watching Ramayana and Mahabharata is just an entertainment for us. We don't take their teaching jobs in future.
And being a human being is the most important thing in this world. And here I learned. All of the participants, all of the teachers, and all the mentors were, and their point of view were very, very inspiring and motivational. That I am thankful to the institution, to my college also, because it was the reason why I am here. And thank you to all for sharing this, and thank you to the institution also for arranging we still seem very less in today's society because being the Indian, being from a rich cultural background, we need to have the spirituality in us because all the Western countries are appreciating our culture, but we lack it. But we need to appreciate more. So it's a lot of discussion. And now I would like to thank again to everyone. And yes, I made few friends also, and I am learning from them also. Thank you to everyone. Anybody else who would like to come and speak something? So every one of you is free to feel and speak whatever you feel about the event. Anyone else? So, as some of the speakers said, participation is more important than winning. This is rightly said. Because for me, for the institute, for the organizers, all of you are the winners. Because all of you have come, all of you have seen, and all of you have conquered the hearts of everyone. So it is the hearts that have to be conquered, not the lives. So this is symbolic that a great bonding with the divinity, a great bonding with humanity, a great bonding with spirituality is on. And all of us have felt and realized that spirituality is something that has not to be seen, it is also to be lived, it is to be experienced. So, this is the important take that we take with us from Yugma 2020. So, in a very short while, we will be having the next final round of discussions, the debate round, and that will be taken over by Professor Nandita Mahapatra. So please be with us for the last event of the day. After that, we will have the valedictory session, and I would put a request to everyone not to leave and be with us so that we can have such an August experience and an August gathering. So thank you. Thank you. So as we still have some time before the participants and speak something about Yugma,
You all are welcome.
I would actually just like to thank the whole organization for giving all of these women such a beautiful opportunity. Honestly, I am a spiritually inclined person, but never in my whole school life or college life I ever got the opportunity to speak something on the philosophy that I have read. This is the first time ever where I got to share how much I know about spirituality, what my views are, what my opinions are, and this is the thing which attracted me so much to join this debate competition. And the experience for the two days was absolutely great. Even though I had read some books of spirituality, but the topics which were given to us, they were so unique. I kept on reading more and more and more, and that just enriched my knowledge a lot. So this is my happy, thankful to all the organization members who take this competition every year, and I'm really looking forward to participate next year also.
Anybody else who would like to speak? So the podium is open, the stage is open. If anyone who wants to share your views, you can come here and speak. Thank you.
जी मैम। ओके, थोड़ा और ऊंचा नहीं हो सकता?
Hello. 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 Hello.
Once again, warm welcome to one and all. We have reached the threshold of the competition, the final round, the open forum and debate round. So let's again give a round of applause for the 5 finalists. Medical College. Okay, we can come and stand in contestant number 1 podium. The second finalist is Jackie K. Abdullah from Yugma. Third finalist is Sushi from Vikas School of Business Management. The fourth finalist is Sakshika Mohapatra from Western University. And the fifth and the last finalist of Yugma 2023 is Subhajit Vishwas from Silicon Institute of Technology. In this combination of education and spiritualism, we are honored to have with us our esteemed juries in the form of Sri Adhyati Mohapatra, Dr. Ashok Maharaj, and Dr. Samila Sutamaran. So, let's start with the open forum and debate. I'm going to read out the rules and regulations. The topic for this particular round is a national liberation lies in spiritual emancipation of his youth. Here, each finalist is given 2 minutes to express his or her opinion, after which the forum will be open for debate. During debating, the finalist who starts speaking can continue for 1 minute, as indicated by the timekeeper. After the indication of completion of 1 minute by the timekeeper, buzzer can be pressed by any other finalist. No finalist is allowed to press the buzzer until 1 minute is over. In case a finalist who is speaking does not stop even after the indication by the timekeeper, the moderator would intervene, stop him or her, and allow the next finalist to speak who has pressed the buzzer. Like this, the debate will continue for 20 minutes, after which the moderator would intervene and stop the debate. Then all the finalists would be exposed to the questions asked by our esteemed jury. So I think it's very clear to all the 5 finalists that we are set with 5 finalists. I would request Associate Dean Training and Placement of the Gymnastics Country to take care of the buzzer. Yes, sir. At the same time, I would also request Mohammad Asif Khan to act as the timekeeper for this specific round. So with the permission of our juries, may we start the round.
Salutations at the lotus feet of the Divine Mother, the Anupama. So our topic is a nation's liberation lies in spiritual emancipation of its youth. What is a nation, first of all? According to Sri Aurobindo, the nation is the mighty Shakti, it is the Bhavani Bharati. And I would like to first of all greet all of you, because you all are all the Shaktis who are sitting here. You are all the unifying force, which once unified constitutes our nation. Our nation is the unity of Shaktis of all the 1.4 billion people that live in it. And Sri Aurobindo felt that the youth are the standard bearers of a new humanity. And he also said that the service of India means the service of the millions who suffer. And while I was coming to this venue, at Panchamukhi Vihar, I read that service of mankind is the service of God. Therefore, service of India is also service of God. Our nation has had a special benefit which not many nations have had. And that benefit is the benefit of having a young population for most part of our independence. And Sri Aurobindo, his birthday, ironically, was also on 15th of August. And on his birthday, he gave 5 dreams for a new India. And his 5 dreams were, first, that Bharat should be Akhand Bharat, Asia's voice should be heard in the world should be united, all the countries should come together. Fourth, India's spirituality, India's spiritual traditions should flow into the West, and India should be the Vishnu Guru, as one of our esteemed jury members also said earlier. Vishnu Guru does not mean that India is dominating the rest of the world. Vishnu Guru means that India is first among equals. And to be a first among equals, the component that is youth, they play a very vital part. I would like to say that India will have a glorious future only and only when it returns back to its glorious ancient past. Lately we have started discovering that all the science that we are studying was already mastered by our ancient Vedic sages. And I would like to conclude by saying that in this way, if the consciousness of the youth is awakened, Mother Aditi and her sons will dawn down upon earth, and we will witness a new dawn and a new age.
Second panel.
Respected parents, dear faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, dear fellow, welcome. And I would like to say this topic is for us, youth, the future of each nation and the future of every nation and the future of the world. But when it comes to understand spirituality, what's the impact of spirituality in Gen Z's life? The impact of spirituality in our liberation, which is the most important thing we should understand so that to live a life without salvage, to live a life in love and in peace. But let's visualize this together. As I was saying, the world is polarized into so many parts. We have the Westerns, they are living in their living style, and we have Indians, they are living also in their living style. But what I can see, what's lacking in the Western parts is that spirituality, that emancipation in terms of spirituality. They've got trapped sometimes by the rules they're putting themselves. But let's take in the other side, in India, the rules that's been set by castes, that's been followed by Indians. So they never and ever got trapped by the rule that's been set by castes. And this is what we should understand. The Western, they are always in war. They are always pursuing they are always pursuing something which is not really important for life and hereafter. But as you can see in India here, India has been before and always in that spiritualism. But the next step of India now is to discover that knowledge, the knowledge of the world. But I'm sure about this.
Honorable jury members of the dais, respected faculty members from different institutions, all the parents and all the audience. I am Kushi Garg from the Vikas School of Business Management, and I feel glad to get the opportunity to express my opinions on the topic, a nation's liberalization lies in spiritual emancipation of its youth. So firstly, a quote by Sri Aurobindo, he says that our ideal is a new birth of humanity into the spirit. Our life must be spiritually inspired effort to create a body of action for that great new birth and creation. Here we have used the term spirituality. Spirituality is essentially the oneness of both the individual soul with the universal soul. It is about finding the same cosmic energy in all the living beings that are associated with us. It's actually the transformation from me to we. Many words are used here like liberation. So liberation means freedom. So Sri Aurobindo says that to recognize and identify one's weakness and to move away from it is the first step that we can take towards liberation. To move away and take our mind away from all the distractions is the first step towards liberation. Also, the youth. It is the central organizing principle of inner life in teenagers, spirituality, because it provides character education to them. They are the closest ones to the rhythms of the universe
And India now, the maximum population of India, it consists of youth. The many factors influence the spirituality among the youth, like adolescence, which is the cusp of life, the most difficult stage, the growth of the child, toxic environment, boredom, restlessness, sometimes acting out, leisure times. These are the various factors that affect them. Thank you.
Swami Vivekananda has rightly said, the highest manifestation of strength is to keep ourselves calm and on our own feet, to practice the divine principles and to imbibe in our lives wisely. A very good afternoon to one Lord present over here. This is Sikshika Mahapatra, and today I am going to present my views on this very vibrant topic. A nation's liberation lies in the spiritual emancipation of its youth. Kudos to all of you to have been emancipated from the clutches of British rule in 1947. But was that enough? Kudos to all of you to have framed the very beautiful and the most largest constitution in the year 1950, to have added the principles of secularism and fraternity. But is that being followed in the contemporary times? The answer is surely no. The lacuna here is because we are not spiritually emancipated and enlightened. Politics, economics, demographics, they must have a greater number and greater degrees in figures. But are we really emancipated and enlightened until we have imbibed the principles of spiritualism and divinity in us? Future holds nothing if you don't hold anything for it. And it's the duty of the future citizens of this country, the youth, who in India and all over the world must raise voices to imbibe the spiritual divinity and its principles for a better future. Education must also play an important role in doing so. As given by Aurobindo, the four paths to achieve spiritualism and enlightenment, that is the path of knowing, the Dhyana Marga, the path of devotion, the Bhakti Marga, the path of union, the Yoga Marga, and the path of desireless action, the Karma Marga.
I have thrown from me the whirling dance of mind and stand now in spirit, silence free. Timeless and deathless, beyond creature kind, the center of my own eternity. How well Sri Aurobindo defined liberation without even using the word of liberation. Liberation can be defined with different domains. What it is the act of setting free from the evils that lies in this world, more specifically in our mind. The evils that constantly pushes us back from the path to divine. As he again defines evil as just nothing but an only accidental characteristic of this world. And I firmly believe that liberation from this evil, speaking individually and for a nation on a larger scale, could only be attained by the youth. We are now the one who need to emancipate this restraints and control over others. As defined in the philosophies of Vedanta, there are four paths of liberation. This path of deduction, path of knowing, path of union, and path of desirelessness. And we have to challenge ourselves with this task or to bestow upon us these tasks and succeed in them to continue on the path of liberation. Now, spiritual emancipation liberates us and this whole nation and the individual from the dichotomies of the evil, prejudices, discrimination, being self-centered, being individualistic, being objective to things, and not following the path of karma, and pretending to be something or someone that we are not. This pretentiousness part is what defines us, is what separates us from the liberation. The moment we liberate us from that, we can do that. And youth will play a major part. Swami Vivekananda, Gautam Buddha, and so many more followed the path of the spiritual emancipation, freeing them and the whole restraint that led to them in front of their action. So yes, I believe this will be the major factor.
What liberation actually is. Setting free from oppression was an old term concept. What liberation actually is. Setting free from oppression was an old-time concept. Today, what it is relevant to the topic, it actually means. Liberation means being liberated, being away from the bounded thoughts, from the bad thoughts, from the negative thoughts, and those thoughts that lead our devastating actions to be and confine us in a very limited space and does not enlighten our soul, does not emancipate our soul. And as a nation, which is the unification of all the souls, each soul and every youth must strive to emancipate himself or herself by imbibing, and every educational institution also impact these spiritual practices so that
When we think about it, this liberation, we need to find about is what is constraining us. Politics, economics, everything that we think of is pushing us back. Holding, not fighting over resources, fighting over things that are not, that doesn't matter in the long run. Fighting for self-centeredness. This is what is pushing us back from the path to spiritualism. And spiritualism is the only way we can find out. The wars that we have fought in the Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, based upon for dharma. They were done for a reason that can lead to the liberation of the whole country, not as an individual. So we must need to put that.
One.
So Sri Aurobindo in his call to young India said that the time has come for Mother India to fulfill her destiny. And the call has gone forth for the youth to prepare themselves and to be worthy of the mother. Sri Aurobindo says the youth first have to be worthy of the mother. What does he mean by being worthy of the mother? It means preparation for the supramentalization, preparation for evolution of the spirit onto a new realm of consciousness. Sri Aurobindo, as all of us know, that he was an editor of a newspaper called Bande Mataram from 1906. And in Bande Mataram, he has said, he actually translated Bankim Chandra Chatterjee's Bande Mataram, and he said that the soul of our nation, which has been suppressed till now, will only find utterance if the youth awaken and the youth undergo spiritual preparation. So unless and until the youth are enlightened, the nation can never find liberation. That is what I want to express.
What you keep speaking. We've got 10 seconds more.
So our country has a spiritual basis, and the spiritual basis can only be taken forward by the youth because it is they who have the capability to liberate our country.
Four.
Jesus has described in the Bible that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free from the kingdom of darkness. Aurobindo, as we all know, has imbibed those practices, the practices of spirituality, which describes to have a spirit of sacrifice, to have a community for the development of that community, be it from different caste, race, religion, and creed, and for the charity and humanity. All these principles must be imbibed in the youth, and India being the bedrock of spiritualism and youth giving voice to the unvoiced and downtrodden must practice these principles in order for the better future of the country and the world in larger sense.
Continue. You have 20 seconds more.
Paulo Coelho, in his very famous book, The Alchemist, has written that it is our inner spirit, it is our inner light that we are finding in the external world. And when we find the inner light, only then we will be emancipated.
3.
So there is a book written by Dr. Lisa Miller, which is, the name is The Spiritual Child. So there is a very beautiful sentence that even a single powerful childhood experience of spiritual awareness can can be a lasting source of their lives. It brings duality in both adolescence and in the near future, which is the parent stage. Sri Aurobindo believes that spirituality involves 6 things. First is faith, second is involvement, practices, values, experience and power. These 6 are essentialities of spirituality.
No. Here, speaking about spiritual emancipation, it's like we'll be focusing on 4 main things, which are the 4 parts. So we should have like these visions, not like we should has only spirituality-based thing. No. Here, when they talk about the path of knowing, so this mainly talk about the path of knowing ourselves. We should know ourselves, which is really more important for our development and progress, and we should be free if we know ourselves. So you can take the cultural aspect. If the person who doesn't give any value to his culture prefers to embrace the Western culture, or he prefers to embrace the external cultures, will never ever know himself. Will still be in that salvage. We stay without liberation. So we should visualize this aspect together. And in terms of the path of action, which is karma marga, good deeds.
What? Sri Aurobindo said that the physical being visited by the greatness of the infinite planes above and by the power of the great Godheads who reigned on those planes breaks its limits, opens out to the light and is upheld in its new wideness by the infinite consciousness, Mother Aditi and her sons, the divine powers of the Supreme Deva. This is the Vedic immortality. Therefore, we talk about the nation's liberation. A nation can truly only be liberated when it is immortal. And for it to be immortal, the youth have to be evolved into the supermind. Unless and until the youth are evolved into a higher plane of consciousness, they cannot work towards a nation's liberation to their fullest potential. Since they cannot achieve their potential, we can never redeem our pledge that we made long years ago. And though we have been making progress gradually since independence, you must think that a child can make progress even if it doesn't have sufficient nourishment. Therefore, we should try to seek to achieve a complete revolution of the spirit, and from that revolution in the nation. Thank you.
As Albert Einstein once said, the true value of humankind and human being can be only found in the degree to which one has attained liberation from self. And to attain this liberation, one must have this liberation from his consciousness. He must know that his consciousness should answer them, that we have to find that what is within us. And being the part of the youth, we have this option. As the Vedanta says, the path of liberation and spiritual emancipation comes from the path of knowing. And we, the youth, having so much to explore and so much time to have this stage of learning and constantly learning to find and develop new things, we have the path to know. And this spiritual emancipation can lead to the liberation that we are looking for as a nation, as the consciousness. And this consciousness that we are finding is what liberation will give us. Also, to the facts stating that the socialistic evils that exist, this consciousness is what.
As I was saying here, the path of action, so this, we should visualize this as a way for progress for any kind of country. So we are the youth, we are the future of our countries, like India here. So we have to visualize this. We have to do good deeds, which is really, really important for us. So we should also love each other. So when it comes for emancipation, spiritual, when it comes to, how can I say, emancipation of the, spiritual emancipation, I want to say. So this is really important in the aspect where the youth of each country should evaluate himself, should know how what it is, will be more aware about himself, and will also know which is good in his country, what the culture allows, and also what is the spiritualism also allows. So in knowing this, we will all have an opportunity to develop our country in the respect of God and also by respecting ourselves. So in this, we can maintain peace in our country. This is really important. This is not only in this aspect of God, but also in the aspect of development and also materialistic aspect. So in essence, 3.
So if we talk about reality, about the youth. While meeting a person face to face, this is a live example, okay? So while meeting a person face to face, we hardly look up to, we are looking at our phone, we hardly look up to them. The conversations are devoid of any substantial catching up, but this is what is happening today. Spirituality, if we infuse it in the youth, it is like the master key of their minds, as it is the oneness of the soul that I already mentioned. So it is the dominant inclination that will help our nation, which provides character.
True. As I was saying, spiritual emancipations in youth is really, really important. I'm just going to come again on it. As the topic, they might choose like older people or any kind of people. Why did they say youth? The youth are the future of our countries, are the future of the nation. So when the youth is in the aspect where they do not really understand themselves and do not really know what's important for them, they will be slave for other people. So this is what so many African countries are now facing. They forget about themselves. They were ready to embrace external culture, external values that doesn't fit in their culture. So they are in perpetual salvage. So this might not happen everywhere. If we knew ourselves as Africans, we would not be in that situation. So this is what happened. When British come in India here, so there have been a fight. Indians, they knew themselves who they are. They cannot be accommodated in the Western culture.
A very famous Bhakti philosopher Kabir has rightly said that true devotion and a true devotee always transcends all boundaries of religion, caste, creed, culture, and plays an important role in building or shaping a better nation. We all have seen in Ramayana and Mahabharata the ashram vyavastha, which was also being replicated by the psychologists of the Western world. What they did, they took the small children or the infants to their ashram and imparted the education. Like that, we also can impart the spiritual education and devotion among the students, because we all know that only talking about politics in the national scale, only getting the GDP high, and only talking about demographics, building the more human development is not totally worth it if we are not building the politics in them.
One. There is a great verse in the Vishnu Purana which goes as Uttaram yat samudrasya himadrishya vadakshitam Varshantat bharatam nam bharatiyatra santati. So we all are the Santan, we are all the children of Ma Bharati. And so therefore we have a great responsibility to Ma Bharati. And as Himalayas was mentioned in this verse, the country that is to the north of the ocean and to the south of the Himalayas, that is called Bharata. That is the Bharat Varsha. And Kalidas, the great man again, he talked about the Himalayas. He described Himalayas as Prithviya Iva Managanda. Managanda means measuring rod. It is the earth's measuring rod. And how is it a measuring rod? Because it connects the spiritual being with the natural being. It connects the supramental with the subliminal. Therefore, if we recognize our nations through heritage, geographical, cultural and historical,
We follow and going on a path that is easy. How do you think the concept of supermind, good deeds, love for each other works? Is it inherent in yourself? No. It is a quality that is to be learned. A young child who is born doesn't understand this, but he comes gradually to know these things from his parents, from the surrounding that he is. And the youth has this time to attain this knowledge, and that can lead to liberation. A nation will have different aspects of it. Not just speaking of our country in India as particular, but the whole world. The whole world needs to follow this. The youth has to play a major part, and it does follow. And major scientific discoveries, the major actions that are being followed is by the youth. 3.
So we are talking about freeing the body, freeing the soul, freeing the evils from our soul. So first is the personality of the youth. Because we all know about personality, the attributes of an individual are based on some situational factors as well. So support and encouragement are something that everybody wishes to grow into a healthy and happy individual. Bombarded with many devices nowadays to distract us, the pace of life has gained so much speed that every minute we need something new to keep us busy. And the youth today need an environment to become more willing to share its vulnerabilities with their mentors. Actually, it's not that the youth are not trying, but they see their identity, but this is a slow process. It takes some time, and they need space for some trial and errors as well.
One. A free country where people, free country is a country as a whole channelizes through their action and tries to connect to the supreme power. And thus, liberation instead it is the most human criteria to separate ourselves in order to find our own advantages to it. The spiritual world is one way to find a solution to it. And thus, we have to follow the actions, we have to follow the things that separates us. As already mentioned, illusions. What illusions hold us back. Illusions do hold us back, and we have to fight that in order to properly liberate our country.
We are the change makers. We are the creator of our future. And we are the master of our fate and the captain of our soul. Only if the soul is in the right path of righteousness and divinity. And it's only our voice, the voice of the youth, that will represent the unvoiced and the downtrodden. We all know the Ashtanga Marga given by Buddha. Here, he mentioned all those spiritual activities, those spiritual practices, those spiritual deeds that can lead us to the path of enlightenment. Henry Longfellow, a very famous literate, has rightly said, "Dust thou art, dust thou returnest." It means we are the art of the dust, and we also will return to the dust. The middle path is the life, and we have to rekindle our soul to develop in our life and develop the world in better sense.
So fashions in dressing sense change, so do fashions in ideas. But what is more important is to be rooted in our origins. The youth of India should be awakened and should know that India, though it is a young country, it's a very ancient civilization. Its heritage is very powerful, we have very old value systems, and we have the best value systems in the world. We see that India, despite there were more than 560 princely states, yet they got one when the call for the creation of a united India came. The name of this foundation is Astha. Astha, when basically translated, loosely translated to English, it translates as faith. Shri Ma once said that faith is always blind. It cannot be that faith is not blind, otherwise it is just reason. So the youth of India should have blind faith in the effort they are doing for this country. Because if they have blind faith in the effort they are doing for this country, they will be able to walk, they will be able to tread the sunlit path. Very few are able to tread the sunlit path, and only the pure in soul can walk in light. That is what Sri Aurobindo said in Savitri.
Development is not only working or having some day-to-day life, but spiritualism is really
From our esteemed jurors. I request esteemed jurors to put their questions on the panel. Any questions? Any next question? Sir, madam, please.
Mr. One, is it any difference between other views and Sri Aurobindo's view about spirituality?
The difference between Sri Aurobindo's views and the other.
Is it any difference? If difference, I say.
If it's different? Yes, there is a difference. For example, the Vedantic streams of thought which have dominated the Indian discourse in such a long time, they believe like the emancipation of the soul. They say that there is this Atman, which is nothing other than this Brahman. But Sri Aurobindo not just only emphasized on the upliftment of the soul, but he felt that soul is just one part of the entire being. He felt that the entire nature, physical, vital, mental, spiritual, psychic, all of it should be uplifted to that higher plane of consciousness. And this is what he called the integral philosophy. And the most special feature of the philosophy is that there is not just an ascent, there is also a descent. So once we ascend towards the divine consciousness, the divine consciousness also tries to descend towards us, and gradually the nature merges, we get fulfilled, and we are able to do our work with more capability. Thank you.
Number 4. What is this continuous liberation? If you say liberation is freedom, in what sense? And how the country can liberate, be free, declare to be free, feel to be free? How is it possible?
So like I say in one of my sentences that earlier when we were not independent, for that period of time, liberation meant from being free from the clutches of British rule. And now as we are celebrating Republic Day, Independence Day, very promptly, there must be a girl sitting in the corner who is not liberated till then. So liberation means being liberated from the liberation of the downtrodden, who are still in some sections of the society who are not abroad. Liberation in individual sense, we can in greater sense see the liberation of the nation of the soul, means liberation from those negative thoughts that is in our mind. Liberation from our bad actions and bad deeds that totally disrupt or dismantle the entire society. The liberation from those practices that is harming others or that is causing harm to others. Liberation from the hurting factors that has already been a negative factor in building a relationship. As we have seen in the Russia-Ukraine crisis or any part of the world where there has been a fight between the countries, they are really not...
Okay, the same question to number 5. What is the essence of being liberated? What's the freedom? Of what you need freedom and how it is possible? For a country as a whole.
What I believe is that for anything that we can speak of, its definition changes. Its definition changes from perspective, its definition changes from situation. And when speaking specifically for liberation, what in plain terms, in layman language is the act of setting free. But when we speak of things, it is the act of setting free from something that is holding us back. As a country, we have many social evils that are holding back. Major one of them are prejudices. The negativity. As of speaking of negativity, I define liberation as moving forward rather than sticking to a certain point. Negativity is that point. Liberation is setting free from that negativity. We as a human mind always cling to that negative past, something that has not happened in our way, because it is very much, it is DNAized in our body, in our soul to correct things, to work upon those things.
Okay. Number 3. How do you feel that one can liberate, that will help the country, you as a youth? How to feel that and how to make it happen? What's the freedom we are thinking of, dreaming of, being liberated?
So according to me, your liberty means setting free from all the evils, all the bad things from our body. For a complete nation, it is not is not necessary that everybody will liberate all the evils or all the bad things from their body. Like yesterday we were talking about the bad thoughts. So like Sri Aurobindo said about jealousy, that jealousy is something that is fatal to the soul, but it has both positive and negative things. So for me, liberation is when you think about the positive aspects of something and work in a positive sense rather than being negative towards it. That is my personal opinion.
If I have the liberty to ask the same thing to number 1, number one. What it is when you think of contributing as a youth for a country's liberation, how you can be a pitch of shot there, how you can add flavor to that individually as a youth, and that will multiply to make a nation. What do you think?
Sir, the way Auroville was set up as an experiment, the country's youth today, they are also part of this experiment. And this experiment is still going on. Normally when we say the word liberation, the kind of picture that comes into our mind is of upheaval or revolution or some sudden change. It is something very sudden, it's not gradual. And we think that, it's like the overthrow of some regime like in Bangladesh or Russia or whatever. But liberation, in my opinion, if we are able to identify ourselves with the country in such a way that no worldly barrier comes between it. For example, when Rabindranath Tagore was asked about his idea of God, he said that it is the reconciliation of the supra-personal spirit in his own individual self. So in a similar way, if we can reconcile our national spirit in our own self. For example, Sri Aurobindo said that the Bhavani Shakti, he saw the nation as Bhavani Shakti. We are all Shakti.
What Cecil says, I mean what Cecil says. With all respect, do not quote anyone. What you mean?
Sir, I think that is the spiritual understanding of what a nation is. Because the spiritual self is our inner self. That is the inner nature of our being. The outer self, the five sheaths which we know, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, that is all there. But our true self is of the nature that if we understand, we recognize what liberation truly means. It truly means that we recognize our spirit with that of the nation spirit. That is what liberation means.
I have a question for all of you. It's a common question, and I think we can start from one, two, three, we can continue. You are representing the youth of the world, I put it that way. And we are very happy that we are debating or we are talking about emancipation, spiritual emancipation of youth. So, what, in your opinion, will you do in order to emancipate yourself spiritually that will be useful to the whole world?
Right, ma'am, that's a very pertinent question. Ma'am, the reason I chose to join the medical profession was that, first of all, I was good at science in my 11th and 12th grades, and I felt that if it could be used as a tool of improving other people's lives, because once a patient comes to the hospital, if we are able to cure that patient, and once that patient goes out, he or she will be able to do his karma to the best of his ability. And that karma will accumulate with me, and its fruits I will get and I can experience. So that was the initial impulse because of which I thought that I can contribute in some way being the youth of the nation. And the second impulse was that it's a selfless act. Once somebody comes to me for help, or once I see somebody in distress, I do not think that I am doing it for some particular gain. I am doing it for the goodness in that action. I am doing it because he is part of the same spirit as me. He is the part of the same supra-personal spirit. That is my motivation.
Thank you very much for giving the floor. And I would say our life as goal is spirituality. So we can even demonstrate or motivate people by what we do, by our deeds. Let's simply take an example, practical example, that we are all seeing. Our honorable founder of KIDS University is having KIDS, Kalinga Institute of Social Science. There, we're having so many people, so many children from different backgrounds, who their parents don't have money to pay their fees. So he's taking them and educating them, and also giving them foods and everything and accommodations. So this is an example and how we can even motivate people to live spirituality. Spirituality doesn't mean to always sit down and pray in that. But spirituality is also our deeds. What we do to people. Our day-to-day life, how we live. So this simple manner for me, I can even show and I can demonstrate and I can even take people with me and show them this is how I live. And help people without waiting anything back. So this is how we should live our life. If each and every single person would understand this, we will not face the issue we are facing nowadays. When you go to the north, you understand, you can hear that we are facing water problem, we are facing food problem, or we are in war. If people could understand the feeling that can be felt by other person, if people could understand what people are going through, if people could have empathy for each other, we will live in a peaceful world and we will live a spiritual life. This is really important. So our life is the best teacher to advise other people. So we do not have to speak, we have to do the action.
Thank you. So, as we have asked about spiritual emancipation, so personally I believe there are various aspects to spiritual emancipation. Like being selfless, helping others, these are mere aspects of liberation and spiritualism. But as one of my fellow mates said, that sitting and praying is not just about spiritualism. I personally believe it. But first is that we need to create, like I was already mentioning, that we need to create that authentic environment so that people get encouraged to do well in life. Then we need to be selfless. We need to get we need to help others. But sometimes when, like yesterday we were discussing about hope. Hope is a divine virtue. We haven't seen God yet, but He has created this universe. We hope for Him. If we sit down, pray for a while, we get shanti. We say shanti in Hindi. So all this meditation, yoga, sadhana, everything are spiritual practices that helps us in attaining some hope, which will further help us in increasing the happiness, improving our quality of life, and it will help us in selflessly helping others.
Thank you.
Whatever I have learned during my school times in those moral science books that has still been confined, I will try to imbibe those virtues, those habits, those manners which doesn't play a vital role in today's life. I will try to imbibe those things in myself.
When I look back upon me, I find myself a few years back, I find myself filled with prejudices. I find myself looking over people with thoughts that were my opinions of people, not knowing their stories. But when you come across a diverse group of people, that's the state that I am doing right now, I'm pursuing my engineering. So when I come to this diverse state of people, I find out there's much more to it. There's a story behind everything. And thus, I need to look upon myself. Thus, that liberation is required within me. I need to find the evil within myself. I need to find about what I'm holding back. I'm always looking upon things that can be and not possibly enjoying what it is right now. So these are the act of things that I need to do. And this is how you needs to do. And this is not just what I need to do, but I need to spread this across to people and spread this across to the whole nation. That it can happen. From how I see, the mind is not an act of, it's not a tool of knowledge. It's a tool of accumulating knowledge. And this accumulation of knowledge can only be done spiritually, where I attain this state of mental peace. And this state has the proper knowledge, the proper consciousness, where there's empathy, there's sympathy for everyone, where there's love for everyone, where there is no fight over resources, where there's no discrimination. When this is spread to a diverse group of people, as you can find today, there's so many people, so many causes, but we are all together united. And this union can only lead to liberation, not just of ours, but as of the country as a whole. That is what I mean.
Thank you.
My question also to everybody from time to time. I say there are two kinds of liberation. Liberation from falsehood and ego, and political liberation. How can liberation from ego help in political liberation? Fine. liberation, liberation from ego and liberation from falsehood. And other liberation is political liberation. How can liberation from ego help in political liberation?
When we speak of ego and falsehood, that is, these two are very interlinked with each other, right? Unless and until you have a falsehood about something, unless and until you believe a false to be truth, you don't have that ego. You believe on something and you hold on to that belief that lead to the falsehood, that lead to news, that lead to the entirety of things that you create. You want the things to go in your own way. And speaking truly, we all know that is how the modern politics works upon these things. You have an idealism. Idealism what differentiate politics, political views, different political views. That is what differentiates. And this ego is a basic core to it. Suppose a party is in its room and it has its ego of having a majority and it wants to pass on something. There's something for greater good and there's something for their own advantage. In the ego of high power, they cannot do that. So thus liberation from that, liberation from ego is basically liberation from self-winning, self aspects. You don't work for yourself, but you work for the community as well. And thus when that happens, politically speaking, there's political liberation from that as well. It's very clear that liberation from that will help in the liberation from the political success.
Sir, we have been reading in our political science that a state is an individual writ large. It means it is by different individuals that a state comes into being, or to lower it in the federal terms, it is through the different individuals that a political community or a political party or a political corporation is formed. And it is through the ideas of each individual, when it is accumulated or collected, a political ideology is formed. The idea of each individual is devised or is influenced by his or her own attitude, ego, or whatever he or she has in within, and that would directly reflect in his political community or the political perspective. Only when we are spiritually emancipated, we means each individual who are spiritually emancipated, enlightened, practice divine practices, do good for others, do good to thyself, then only the whole political community will have an influence of that. And when the whole political community or the whole political party, the whole political civil society will have an influence on that, there will be a big change in the ideology of that state. And the big change in the ideology of that state will totally have an impact on the development of the nation. So according to my opinion, here political liberation does not only mean about the political parties, but political liberation is something which is associated with the political community, the operations, the community where various people interact with each other. Every one of us are a part of a political community and are part of political liberation. When we talk about falsehood and ego liberation, that's as for an individual. And if one individual in one community grows, similarly, we have learned that spiritualism and liberation are something that are contagious. It transfers from one person to another. If I am doing something good, this is a scientific theory, many may be knowing this. If I am doing something good, my brain releases some chemicals which are called endorphins, and they are known as the helper's high. So if I am doing something good to others, I will feel good, and the other one will also feel good. But this is contagious. It will transfer from one person to another. So if we are talking here about the falsehood and ego, because truth is something that it will come out one day or the other. So if one person from a particular community is gaining something, it will get transferred to other people. Many people will start getting involved in this, and it will help in the political liberation, according to me.
From my point of view, I would rather say they both came impact each other, but mainly liberation from ego impacts political liberation. Why? People are those we are people who cultivate ego. and we are also the one who groups politics. So mainly, we are most of the time, we have influence on something that we most of the time do. For example, I'm a politician, and I have ego, and I don't want anyone like to be before me, and I don't want anyone to have political power except me. This is a fair example. And in my real life, even at home and in my family, maybe I don't want any of my brothers and sisters get richer than me. So this is the ego that I have. So when it comes to me to have that power to be a politician or to be in that domain, I will forcibly apply this because this is part of nature. I will apply this. So these things are mainly linked to each other, but it depends. It depends when the possessor of that ego becomes a politician. You will forcibly apply because it's a subtle power which human beings cannot control when it's comes against it. We cannot. So, coming to political liberations, this also is really hectic and also difficult. When we see so many politicians in the world, that I will take the continent I know the most, Africa. Africa, a president can come to power for 5 years. And will never, will not have to take 10 years. But that person, after the 5 years, will change the constitution so that to do 10 years. So this ego has transformed the guy to have like to extend his power to 10 years. So mainly, we are not going to say the power has changed him, but he had that behavior before coming to the power. So this mainly happens. The things are linked to each other, and we human beings, we have that behavior. We cultivate it even with power, even before having power. So people don't change, but time.
So first of all, on a lighter note, as my co-panelists mentioned political parties and games, I could not help but recollect a story when Indira Gandhi and the mother blessed her, and she had asked for 250 seats in the parliament, but as everybody knows, she got more than 350. So mother always gives much more than what is asked for. And if you don't believe in the mother, then also she is there. That does not make any difference. Her divine grace is always there. Therefore, I'll answer this in 3 points. First point is, if I identify with my lower vital ego, the body, mind, all that, I will work to satisfy its desires. I will work for my own upliftment. That is what so many of the politicians do. But if I believe in a higher reality, if I believe in the existence of a greater being, greater than me, I will work for the upliftment of that greater being. I will work for the fulfillment of myself. And how can I get fulfilled? By serving that greater being. That is Bhakti Yoga. And if I third point is, if I surrender myself completely, people say that you are surrendering yourself completely to a greater being, how can you be free? Because you are surrendering yourself to one being. But the greater being is not any object like all these objects I am seeing. The greater being is the reality over which we are seeing all these objects. Therefore, if we surrender ourselves to the greater being, it is we who will get freed out of this imprisonment. And it is we who will get more than what we have asked for. And that is how we liberate ourselves from ego and falsehood. That paves the way for political liberation. What is important to understand is that believing that there is a political liberation is also a kind of falsehood. There is only one liberation, and that is the liberation that leads to the absolute. Thank you.
I think we are done with the last stage of human history. Can you have the figure of the third for all of Thank you all the 5 panelists for being here. Definitely we will be very keen to have the results. We will have it very shortly. But we couldn't stop thanking ourselves and of course the audience and mostly the esteemed juries. So can we have a huge round of applause for all our esteemed juries for being patient for this too long day.
से टेबुल गुड़ा ये कौटी शिफ्ट हम टेबुलटा जो टेबुलटा जो हाँ टीपॉय नहीं गले जो